Hi, this is Janine Jordan, Assistant Director with the UNLV Upper Bound Math and Science Center, and I'm here to talk to you about filling out the FAFSA. It usually takes the average person about 30 minutes to complete the FAFSA. It will take some a little bit longer, and that's okay. The FAFSA has a lot of helpful hints on it. All you have to do is just keep going. It's a straightforward process. Answer one question and keep going to the next until it's time to submit. It is available in both English and Spanish. Now, since we talked about submit, how do I submit my FAFSA, or where do I submit my FAFSA? You can use the FAFSA website and submit it electronically on FAFSA.gov. Or you can also download the My Student mobile app on your phone and submit it there. You have a third way that you can submit it, which is in the mail, printing out the PDF hard copy. If you have any questions, they have a 1-800 number for you, or you can ask your college career counselor or anybody who is fluent in the FAFSA. Now, the earliest you can submit your FAFSA is October 1. The latest is June 30th of each year, and you don't want to wait that. Please note, you can submit it October 1. Do not submit it before then, because it will not be available for the year you want it to. You will submit it for the year, high school students, that you will be in college. So since we're in the 2021 school year, everyone is submitting their FAFSA for the 21-22 school year. I ask everybody to complete it as soon as possible, starting on October 1st. The FAFSA coincides with universities' priority deadlines, where if you are admitted to that institution, you have completed your FAFSA by that deadline, you will then be eligible for university scholarships. Now that we've given you a little intro to the FAFSA, let's get started. So let's get ready to FAFSA. We're going to knock out that FAFSA. Now, once you go into the FAFSA.gov website, that's the FAFSA.gov website, you're going to see the homepage where it says complete the FAFSA form. For high school students, you're going to be the new to it, so you're going to start here. For college students, you're going to be returning, so you're going to go there. It's going to take you to your login page where it's going to ask you, are you a student or are you the parent? You're going to answer that question. Then it's going to take you to enter your FSA ID. Again, that is the FSA ID. We hope that you will, high school students have created one before the FAFSA, but if you didn't, that's all right. It has a create your FSA ID right there. And college students, you're going to put it in. Then you're going to have a warning sign. That warning page is letting you know that you're entering a government website, and that's all right. You already know that. Then you're going to get the get started. So it's going to ask you you're going to see two different years. The current school year, which is 2021, and the year that we're all applying for the FAFSA, which is the 2021 to the 2020 school current year. Please make sure, college students and high school students, that you do that. Now, college students, you already have your safe key, so you will enter that. High school students, a safe key is a secondary security, so you will, and it cannot be your FSA ID. You're going to have to create a safe key code, and that's all right. Again, do not use personal identifiers for that. The next thing is going to give you an introductory page and you really just need to go on and pass that. I do encourage you to go back. It's giving you all the insights of the FAFSA, but you already know what the FAFSA is about. You're trying to get some money to pay for college. Next is you're going to see we're starting the student demographic page, and it's going to ask you for your residency. How long have you lived in the state of Nevada for at least the past 5 years? And are you a U.S. citizen or not? Then it's going to have your student education. You're going to put in your high school diploma. That this will be you're working on your first bachelor's degree. You never attended college before. And yes, you're interested in being considered for work study. Work study is additional money that can be used to pay for college. Then it's going to ask you about our student selective service. It's going to ask you, are you a male or female? When you check that you are a male, please note that you will be prompted to sign up for selective service. No, you're not signing up for the military. You're signing up for a U.S. registry. Next is going to ask you about your driver's license, if you have one. If so, then put in that information. And they are still trying to identify if you will be a dependent or not. So it's going to ask you, are you a foster care youth? Your highest level of education that your parent can attended is going to ask you for parent 1 and parent 2 if you live in a 2-parent household, or it will just have the 1 parent if you're in a single parent household. Then it's going to ask you to search for your high school. So it walks you through that process. Then it's going to ask you to search for your colleges. Now, current college students, please make sure that you re-enter your institution's name so you can make sure that they get your FAFSA information for the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, 5th time. Then for high school students, it's going to ask you for the college codes. If you don't know the college financial aid codes, then you can do a search. It shows you the search where you put the name of the institution, the city, and the state that it is. Then it's going to ask you about housing. Of course, if you're going out of state, you want to live on campus. And some schools may require freshmen to live on campus, regardless of whether you have a relative there. And then if you have up to 10 schools, high school students to put on there. Of course, you're in college, you're going to put the one school that you're attending. I do encourage high school students to put as many schools that they're thinking about. Now it's asking you about your marital status. Are you married or not? It's going to ask you, do you have any dependents? We're still trying to find your dependency. Are you currently serving in the armed forces? Are you a veteran? At the age of 13, were you emancipated? Were your parents deceased? And it's going to ask you the homeless question. And then it's going to give you your status. So if you're in high school, based on your status, you are considered a dependent, in which you will be required to enter a parent or both parents' information. If you are a college adult who is considered independent, then it will ask you, do you want to put it in? It's going to give you a message that you don't need to. But of course, if you're in law school or medical school, you may be required to enter your parents' information. Now we're in the parent section. Congratulations, you have completed the student section. Now it's going to be asking some of the same similar questions for the student that it did the parents. So it's going to ask you their marital status. It's going to ask you to put in their social security number, date of birth, first and last name. It's going to ask you to do this for one parent or both parents if you're in a 2-parent household. It's going to ask you, just like you, for your parents' state of legal residency. Have they lived in Nevada for the past 5 years? And it's going to ask for your parents' household, the number of people in the household, which will show you, if you're dependent, your parent, and then you would list the number of people who live in that household that your parents provide a minimum of 50% of their living expenses for them. Then we're getting into the tax filing status. Again, if you can use the IRS data retrieval, that will allow you to upload your recent tax forms. For this training, we're going to walk you step by step. So it's going to ask you, have parent 1 and parent 2, or just the one parent completed their 2019 tax return. You're going to say yes, because that was due in April, and we are submitting this starting October 1. You were going to say that they've already completed it, that it was a 1040, and then please ask your parents, students, how did they file? Did they file head of the household? Did they file single? Did they file married jointly, married separate? It has to match how they filed. So you got to ask your parents how they filed. Please don't guess. It will take you again to the IRS data retrieval, but for the sake of this training, we're going to act like that did not happen. And your parent, if they do use the IRS data retrieval, if you use the IRS data retrieval, it will ask you to put in your FSA ID. It's going to take you to that website. You will get again a message saying that you left the FAFSA website and that you're going to a government website. But since we did not use that data retrieval, it's going to ask for your parents' adjusted gross income. Then it's going to ask how much income did they make, and it's going to give you the line. It's going to take you next to that you said they're doing a 1040, and did they file, did they schedule, it's going to ask you, were they like a dislocated worker? Are they on Medicaid? Supplemental nutrition. It's going to ask you for different informations about that. It's going to keep asking you about their income. Now we're getting to the tax filers only questions. So was there combat pay? This is about your parent. Was your parent in college? Did they have any loans, any education credits, any untaxed? We're still on the parents' additional information. So was there child support, any earnings from work or cooperative education, taxable earnings from need-based income, is there child support, housing, food, payments are tax deferred, veterans? You're going to answer that. Assets of your parents. Do they have any assets? Now that you completed the parent financials, we're back on the student financials. It's going to tell you that that part was successfully saved. You do have a save button on top that you can make sure, double check and save each page as you do it, but the system will save it automatically. But I always suggest it doesn't hurt to just double check and save it yourself. Now, because the FAFSA belongs to you, the student, you will be putting in your information. So again, the student, you can use the IRS data retrieval if you worked and filed taxes. You can only use the IRS data retrieval if you filed taxes. If you didn't file taxes, of course, there's nothing to retrieve. So you will again get a message saying that you're leaving the web. You'll get that little check twice because they want to confirm that you are doing it. Then you're going to see that you are on a government website and you're going to say, okay. And like your parents, you're going to say, get my federal tax income. So you're going to put in your first name, your last name, your date of birth, your filing status, your address, your county, all of that stuff. You're going to put that in. But since we didn't do that, we're going to continue with the FAFSA, and it's going to ask you for your adjusted gross income for 2019. It will tell you that you can find that information on your tax forms on line 8. Then it's going to ask you that you indicated that you were doing a 1040 and did you file a Schedule 1. You're going to say yes or no. It actually gives you a click here for more information on the Scheduled 1. Then you're going to go to student additional information. So you're going to enter the amount of your income tax for 2019. It tells you where you can find that. Now we're on these tax filer questions. So did you have any of the following amounts that apply to you? Combat pay, student college grants, educational credits, untaxed portions of the IRA distributions, deductions of payment, tax exempt interest. Then if you didn't, you'll say no. Do you have any of the following items in 2019? Child support, earnings from work under cooperative education, taxable income from need-based. We're continuing that part with housing, food SNAP. Of course, most high school students do not have that. Veterans, non-deductible benefits, you don't have that. Then it's going to get to your assets. Most high school students do not have assets, but some do. If you say yes, it will prompt you to put in those amounts. Now, you have filled out all 6 of the first forms of the FAFSA. Now it's time to view your FAFSA. And they're going to ask you, are you a preparer? You will say no, because a preparer is a financial professional that you paid to do your FAFSA for you. You did it for yourself. Now you are going to view your FAFSA. Please make sure that you go line by line, slowly and carefully, to make sure that there are no no misinformations, no missing information, and that you entered everything correctly. Then you're going to have your terms of agreement page that you agreeing that and attesting that everything that you entered is true and correct. Then it takes you straight to the student signature. So with the student signature page, you're going to click sign my FAFSA, and then you will put in your FSA ID to sign your FAFSA. Now it takes you to the parent student signature page. Now for the parent student signature page, it's going to say, do you going to sign electronically using the parent FSA ID? And if they don't have one because they were not able to get one due to not having a social security number or permanent residency number, then you're going to print out the signature page. You will then print that out, have your parents sign it, and then you will click the submit without signatures because you want to make sure it's submitted. You don't wait until you mail your signature page. You submit your FAFSA immediately, then you put that signature page in the mail. And lastly, you're going to see this confirmation page that says congratulations, letting you know that in 7 to 10 business days, you will see your student aid report. That is your SAR notifying you of your FAFSA process and what you're available for. Now, you get a little instant email, and I encourage you to go in that. So that's your little processing email. It's also going to tell you congratulations for submitting your 2021 to 2022 FAFSA successfully. It gives you that confirmation number, and it says what happened next, that you're going to be notified again about your SAR, that your schools will start contacting you. Then it gives you eligibility information. That will start with your EFC, your expected family contribution. This is the number on paper that your parents have to pay for college. The lower that number is, the higher your chances are of receiving some to all of the full Pell Grant. And the Pell Grant is $6,345 to pay for college. Again, that's $6,345. It's going to let you know what your Pell amount is, if you're eligible, and then what your Stafford loans amount is. Now, I want to say congratulations. You beat that FAFSA and you got that free money. If you have any questions, you can also call that 1-800 number, talk to your college advisor, talk to your high school advisor if you have one, and you can, of course, always talk to your CAEO advisor. You have a nice day.